Hey, friend, are you feeling a little stressed lately? There are definitely times throughout the year for each of us where life might feel a little extra stressful. That time might be happening right now for you, or it might come later on in the future. Even though we learn to expect those busy seasons, we definitely don't want to dwell on them, and we want to have some sort of plan in order to get through those. And personally, I have a tendency to want to be in control most times, but one of the ways that I have really learned to sit back and go with the flow without getting overly stressed when things start getting a little chaotic is having this one routine just totally locked and loaded. No matter what season of life I'm in, if I make time for this routine, I feel better and more prepared about what is coming in the future and whatever is happening around me because I have this one routine in place that gives me peace so I can move on with my day. And I want to share that with you today.
Are you ready to stop the chaos, the stress, the overwhelm that's filling your life? I'm Renee Matt, and together you and I are going to build simple routines that are going to change your life. When you put these habits into practice, you're going to be able to organize your life in a way where you can be there for your family, pay off your debt, save money, your house can stay organized, you don't have to stress about what's for dinner, and you still get time for yourself. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome to the Routine Advantage Podcast.
Now, even though I'm sharing my personal routine that I turn to, that might not necessarily be the routine that you turn to when you're stressed. And as we go through this process of learning how to build these strategic routines that keep things simple yet flexible in our lives, you will find that one that really helps ground you and make you feel just a lot less tension and anxiety that helps to give you that boost of being able to really feel like you can tackle your day. And for me, that one routine that is my base is my morning routine. And I know that a lot of people say that they don't have time for a morning routine or they're just not a morning person, and that is okay. However, I will say that a morning routine isn't something that just comes naturally. It does take intention. And if you try it and you don't like it, then change it up and do something that you enjoy. But I strongly, strongly, strongly encourage you to at least give it a shot because there are so many things and so many benefits of a morning routine that you can really customize it to what you need. And even if you're not a morning person, you can actually create a morning routine that really serves and benefits you and it just makes your day flow so much smoother. So I would definitely recommend that you at least try it if you don't already have one in place. But there are several reasons why I think that it's really crucial for me to have a morning routine. And I feel like this is very common with others, but it's definitely a time where I can dedicate time. And I will say right away that it can be 5 minutes, it can be a full hour, it could be 2 hours, whatever fits in your life at the time, but it is a quiet time where I can think and I can take time to journal. I can take time to do my Bible study. I can do whatever is important to me at that time because I make a priority to get up where nobody else is awake. And so the house is quiet. It's generally still a little dark. So it's just very peaceful. And it gives me time to really focus on what's important to me and helps me feel energized. It helps me have that me time where I can focus on my priorities so that when everything starts coming alive for the day, that I have the rejuvenated spirit, that motivation to be able to serve others well because I feel like I have already been taken care of. And you will find that if you're just draining yourself all the time, that you're probably not taking time away to just focus on you, and most of us don't. And that's why having this time in the morning really helps to carve that out before your day even begins so you can get that taken care of without feeling like you have to make time for it later in the day when you're already stressed. This is when you get up and it can be peaceful right away. It also gives me time that I can review my day. Even if I am really crazy busy, it gives me time to sit down and review my day stack and feel like I have a little bit more of that control that I so desperately seek. But it gives me time to review my day. So I do feel really prepared to go into my day so that I don't feel like I'm just rushing and like trying to beat the clock right from the moment I get up. It's also because it's so early in the morning and it's quiet, it's very calm and relaxing and peaceful, and it's like a time to be able to hear yourself think before all of that hustle and bustle of the day begins. And I just think that that is so crucial to be able to really enjoy the time. And even if you're not a journaler, I strongly encourage you to have a notebook during this time because it gives you a chance to just write out your thoughts, and it could be something as simple as just writing out what your plan is for the day. It could be writing what happened yesterday and something that you really just want to put down on paper and think through whether it was good or bad. It allows you to just kind of put some dreams or goals on a piece of paper. It just has a tendency to allow you to really pour out in words what a lot of times we don't even necessarily know that we're feeling, and then we look at it and it's like, "Oh, well that makes a little more sense." So, I just love this time in my day, and sometimes it's really short and sometimes it's really long, but when I feel stressed especially and everything is just being super chaotic and things are not going the way that I want them to, making sure that my morning routine is a priority keeps me from feeling so overwhelmed that I just give up on everything. And I think it's such an important routine. So I do want to give you a few things that might help you if you have not created your own morning routine yet that will help get you started with this. And our dog keeps whining. He is so ready to go for his walk. So I hope that you can't hear him. But if you hear him periodically, I am very sorry. I will take him for a walk as soon as I'm done recording this. Um, but the morning routine section in the Audit Your Habits guide, if you do not know already, I have a free guide. It's called Audit Your Habits, and you can get it at audityourhabits.com. And basically, it just is like journal prompts that allow you to walk through and kind of look at your day, or not your day necessarily, but your five foundational routines, and just look at these five areas and give you a chance to really think about specific things in those areas and write them down. So I was looking at the morning routine section. And I pulled some of the things in there so that you can get started with at least your morning routine. And so grab a pen and paper or a journal if you already have one, and just kind of think these through. And you can pause the episode if you need to, and just like restart it when you're done writing down your answer, and then move on to the next thing. But there's only a couple of them here, or there's three of them. But number one is, how are you currently waking up? And this is kind of walking through like, do you use an alarm clock? Do you snooze it 3 times? Do you lie in bed for 20 minutes while you're scrolling on your phone? What you really want to do is write down the most common way that you are waking up. So maybe it's not how you wake up every day, but more often than not, write down how you are waking up. Like, how is your day starting? And then your second question is to think about that typical morning routine, the kind that happens most often. So after you wake up, what are you doing next? So, this is where you want to write down your typical morning routine from the time you wake up, not that current wake up routine of like not necessarily a routine, but what is happening when you're waking up is the first question. Like, what are you immediately doing when you wake up? The second question is, what is happening from that time to when you consider your day beginning? So, is it beginning right away where you're getting ready and you are rushing out the door to work? Are you taking some time to scroll on your phone, to go have coffee in your pajamas and go do people read newspapers anymore? To read the newspaper, to scroll on the internet, maybe read the news on the internet, maybe turn on the TV to watch the news. I'm not a news watcher, so that's not my routine, obviously, but that might be yours. And so you really want to just evaluate what you are doing between that time frame so that you can really begin to think about if that's actually how you want to start your day, if you could strategically structure your morning. And so then you move to question number 3, and it's approximately how long does your current morning routine take? So even if this is not purposeful, how long is this taking you? Even if it's not a structured routine for you, but how long is it taking you from that time that you wake up to when you are considering that your day has started? So if you get up at 6:30 a.m. and you don't think that your day necessarily starts until 8:30 when you're on your way to work, then you have 2 hours between 6:30 and 8:30 of that is your morning routine by default. And so you really want to look at that time and say, okay, how I'm spending that 2 hours, is that how I want to be spending those 2 hours? And if it's not, what can I change? Can I take 5 minutes of that to do something for myself that's just quiet? And if I can do that, then can I take 10 minutes? And if I can take 10 minutes, what is important to me? What do I want to be doing in that 10 minutes that is going to give me some peace of mind to go into my day when this is a super busy, chaotic season of life? So, this just helps you to really start thinking about these things. And like I said, when you start writing, you might be surprised on what goes on your paper. But a few other things, a few other tips, I should say, as you are beginning to build your morning routine, I want you to remember to start small. Don't expect to go from no morning routine to a full hour routine because that's going to be really hard to adjust to and you might give up right away. So, we want to build it so that you can become really consistent with this. So, just start small and build it from there and just really focus on what is important to you. And the other tip I have is if mornings truly don't work for you and you just can't make it work, then consider doing a different time. I strongly encourage mornings because that is what sets the tone for the rest of your day. But if you can't do that, then maybe you're looking at an evening routine where that is your me time before you go to bed. But while you're doing that, I still want you to be thinking about your morning because you want to make sure that when you are getting up in the morning, it is going to flow in a way that doesn't stress you out from the moment it begins. So, does that mean setting your clothes out the day before or your kids' clothes? Does it mean packing lunches during dinner the night before so that you don't have to stress and worry about that in the morning? Is it making sure that all of your shoes are by the door because you don't want to be like trying to stress and figure out where all the shoes are? So it's still thinking about the morning and that process so that you feel, not stressed right away. So even if you're doing that routine at a different time of the day, you're still thinking about those mornings to make sure that they flow smoothly. And then the other thing is that I want you to also think of different options for your morning routine because every morning is not going to be the same. So even if we have a schedule where it's like, okay, we can accommodate a 30-minute routine for our morning routine, and that's great. But you're probably not gonna have that every day. So, on the days where, you might be a little extra busy and you might only have 10 minutes, I still want you to take those 10 minutes. So, it's being able to be flexible with this morning routine and being able to just do a small one and or like a short one and also do a long one based on what is going on that day, but still prioritizing that time. So, when you are looking at this, you really want to think about what is the number one thing that you want to do in the mornings that is like the non negotiable. This is what really gets you feeling good and sets the tone for the rest of the day. Is it quiet time? Is it going out for a quick walk around the block or down the road a mile and then turning around and coming back? Is it doing some stretching or some exercises? Is it doing prayer time? Is it doing just journaling with a cup of coffee on your front porch? Like, what is that number one thing that really makes you feel alive and makes you feel like you have that full cup that people talk about, so that when you are going into your day, you are entering your day with a full cup so that you aren't pouring from an empty cup as you go into your day. So, you really want to think about those things as you're building your morning routine. And once you start doing this, you will learn to absolutely love a morning routine and be able to stay consistent with it because you have the flexibility to adjust it based on what your day is going to bring. If you need help building your morning routine, I do have several episodes that you can find when you join our Facebook community, and the link for that is in the show notes. But when you join that community, make sure that you scroll to the top of the page in the pinned post. There, the featured section. There is an episode library where you can search for morning routine, and it will highlight a bunch of our morning routine episodes where you can actually go and listen. And as you're building your morning routine, you can think about some of these things. But two, I just wanted to call out quickly, if you really want to take time to build that morning routine, is episode number 3 is why a morning routine is necessary, how it can help you, and how to create one. And then episode 56 is creating a morning routine that is flexible in different seasons of life. So hopefully those will help you. And like I said, you can go get that free guide at audityourhabits.com if you want to go through these journal prompts in that actual workbook. And it also goes through the other 4 of the 5 foundational routines. So hopefully that will help you as you're kind of getting through this process. But a really quick recap of those journal prompts, in case you don't want to go download that free guide, is number 1, how are you currently waking up? Number 2, after you wake up, what are you doing next? So write down your typical morning routine from the time you wake up to when you are getting ready and considering yourself starting your day. And then number 3 is write down how long that current morning routine is taking. So from the time you wake up to when you consider yourself starting your day, what is that time frame that you're working with? And then a few of the other tips that I just want to recap really quickly in case you missed them is number 1, start small. Number 2, if mornings don't work, do a different time of the day, but still make sure that you are reviewing your plan for the mornings so that you are starting your day as smoothly as possible. And tip number 3 is to make sure that you are looking at other options and being able to structure a morning routine with short routines and a longer routine option so that you can adjust it based on your day, but you still have a number 1 priority item that you are focusing on in your morning routine, so that even if you have nothing else that you can do that one thing to really feel good about moving on and going into tackle your day. So I hope these were helpful for you, and I hope that you take the time to really figure out what your number 1 routine is that you can turn to when life feels chaotic, to just really help ground you and make you feel like you've got it under control, and it helps to just kind of reduce that stress so that you can just take a deep breath and move on and plug those routines into your day and really feel like everything's not actually falling apart, even though it might feel like that right now. But I am praying for you, and I hope that this is blessing you and that you have a wonderful day. And I will see you on the next episode.
Did you love that episode or learn something useful? If so, would you do me a huge favor? My goal is to grow this podcast and help as many women as I can break free from the overwhelm so they can truly enjoy their life. The best way for me to do this is for you to leave a 5-star written review on your podcast app and to share this episode with a friend or in your Instagram stories. I appreciate you being here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.